Okay, so guys, a lot of YouTubers have already made this video about who you should level 75 first. So I thought that I should make my own take on this. So in this video, if I miss out on some characters, it's probably if I miss out on a really good character, that means it was just accidental. But if it's not like a really top tier unit, then if I miss that unit out, that means what that meant is that what that means is that I probably would just like not recommend it. So to the point whereby I don't even mention it. So yeah, if I don't mention a unit and it's not that good, that means I do not recommend taking that character to level 75. But as to who you guys should take to level 75 first, the top 3 will probably be Gopher, King, and Merlin. The reason being, like, you obviously right now the Crimson Demon or the Howlex Demon has just been out for like a couple of days, right? So what that means is that the materials right now is pretty scarce, which means that you can only have a limited number of level 75s. So you wanna like choose your level 75s really carefully. So you can't exactly like level 75 everyone. As you can see, like, I've been trying to accept all the Crimson Raids, but I've not been getting that many, and I've only gotten like 4 level 75 units. As you can see, I have Hauser at level 75, but you might not want to bring him to level 75. I'll talk more about him in a second. The highest priority would be Gopher, because he's basically like, he's just good in everything. He's good in PvP, PvE, anything. So since he's basically like the best unit in the game, like objectively, because he's good at like almost everything. Like if you can fit him onto a team, he's probably gonna do well. So he's like an all around like probably the best unit in the game. That's why you wanna bring him to 75 first. And right now, Global's second best unit subjectively is King. So yeah, he heals, he petrifies, his out hits like a truck. Like when you get a few dupes into him, his out just one shots teams in PvP. He can be used in PvE. He's not the best at farming, but his out like deals a lot of damage. So yes, he has like some sort of AOE. And for harder stages whereby you need healing and stuff, he's a really good character as well. But he's mainly used in PvP, and he's like subjectively the second best unit in the game. And for Merlin, which is like my third one, my third in my priority list, is because she's used in like Grey Demon PvP, and her perfect cube is just like really strong. It's like, if you don't already know what it does, right, it basically makes it so that you have like a additional like small health bar. It's like a shield, right? She creates a shield that tanks some of the damage. And example, Galen uses his AOE that applies bleed, and it doesn't break the shield, then the bleed won't be applied. So yeah, Merlin is really good, and she has this card that removes an outgauge, so it's like Bun, and she's just overall a really strong unit. And you want to get her to 75. Another reason is because Escanor is coming out, right? And you depending on what teams you run, if you're not using Merlin, it's still good to bring her to 75, because you can, if you're not using Merlin, if you're not planning to use Merlin on your team, you can just put her as a link for Escanor, and then Escanor will have his association and get the combined attack, so his out will hit even harder. So even if you're not planning to use her with Escanor, then you can at least use her as a link, and she'll give Escanor like 19.2% crit chance or something, and his combined attack. So yeah, and she's just a overall really solid unit. Obviously, if you wanna bring a character up, you want the character to be very solid, and these 3 characters are just super solid. So okay, I'm gonna talk about Bun. Should you level 75 this Bun? I wouldn't. I mean, first of all, I couldn't even if I would, even if I wanted to, because obviously I don't have Bun, but Bun is starting to fall off the meta already, so it's not that wise to invest too much into him. You can if you are trying to push, if you're like really trying to push for like the next rank, like quickly, like as soon as possible, then yeah, you can 75, but I wouldn't recommend it. Halbram, you because the thing is that like pretty much everyone knows, but by this point, like Halbram is best used in the King Brum team, right? Which is the king with Gopher and King, and like Merlin in the back. And that team right now is still like top tier in the Japanese server. So if you are planning on using him long term, then yeah, go ahead. He's a really good candidate. Green Merlin, I wouldn't take her to 75 because she's good at like, she doesn't even need to be at 70 to be honest. Cause her main purpose is to freeze only, unless you want her to do damage, but I wouldn't take her up too high. I wouldn't make her 75, like no chance. At this point at least, I won't do it. Demon Meliodas, he doesn't need it. There are better characters for it. I wouldn't 75 him. I would 70 him at max for now. He would not, even if I had him, I wouldn't take him past 70. Galen, you can bring him to 75, but the thing is that like everyone has already said it. Once Green Escanor comes out, he'll be like irrelevant pretty much. So if you are really trying to push for a higher rank right now in PvP, then you can take him to 75, but like he'll only be relevant until Escanor drops, which is his release shouldn't be too far away. It might even be like the next update or the update after the next. So he's gonna be irrelevant soon, but if you really want to push for PvP right now, then go. Then I guess you can. So I talked about all the characters that I do not have and are worthy. Oh yeah, okay. Green King, I almost forgot. Green King, you don't even need to bring him to 70. You can, but he actually works fine at 60 because he still gets his job done at 60. He doesn't really need the extra levels. And he's only good in Grey Demon, so he doesn't really need any increase in levels for like combat class or anything. Level 60 is honestly fine. But you can take him 70, I wouldn't take him 75. For now at least. And Elizabeth Hawk, she's good for Red Demon and she's okay for Crimson Demon as well. I wouldn't take her to 75 for sure, I would not. Her kit makes it so that, like if you read her passive, increase basic stats by 10% at the start of the next turn if she doesn't take any damage, right? So basically her damage just scales infinitely. So you don't even need to take her past 60. If you have her at 60, right, she's already gonna do enough damage. You don't need to take her past 60, trust me. I took her to 65. I'm not sure why I took her to 65, but it's fine. Yeah, just don't take her to 75 for now at least. Alpha, if you are planning on running Alpha on PvP, go ahead. He's a really good candidate as well because he's a really good buffer. He can be used in raids, he can be used in guild boss, and he's good. He's really solid in PvP. And plus, when Red Escanor comes out, he'll be seeing a lot more use because Red Escanor pairs like insanely well with this Red Alpha. Red Slater, I think 70 should be fine. For now, I might bring him up like later on once I get more Crimson Demon years, but for now he's staying at 70. You can have him at like 60 to be honest. The only reason I took him to 70 for now, right? Like I want to bring him up, but I'm like kind of short on SSR pendants. I would like to bring him up even more because not only he's a really solid unit, but he's also like he also has a link to Arthur. Wait, let me check. Let me show you guys. Let me just click on someone else. Let me click on Slater. and go back on him. I'm getting like you just get like base stats and then attack from the rates later. And if you didn't already know, if you upgrade the link unit, your base character gets increased stats as well. That's why I took him to 70. But I would say take him to a maximum of 70 for now. So yeah. Jericho. Jericho is a tricky one because some people say like take her up immediately. Some people say that you should take her up, but you don't have to rush it. Personally, I would say that you don't have to rush it unless you absolutely love Jericho and you want the maximum damage possible, or if you're trying to push as high as possible for guild boss, then yeah, go ahead. But she's not the highest on my priority list for now. Red Hauser. This one is another tricky one because I would not recommend bringing him up to 75 unless you plan on using him in geared PvP. The reason being, he's not that good at all in ungeared. I've tried him in ungeared many times, but he just tickles in ungeared. He needs good SSR gear to hit like decent, actually I wouldn't say decently hard. He hits pretty damn hard with like my current SSR equipment, but you have to bear in mind that like my equipment is like really stacked. Like look at this. 11.5% attack, 6% pierce rate, and like for this, like as you can see, it's like really stacked, right? 16.5% pierce rate and like almost 6% attack. So my Hauser like hits insanely hard, especially in gear. I mean, I say especially in gear, but like only in gear does he hit hard. So yeah, if you're planning on using him in gear as well as a farming unit, 75 him. But if you're only planning on using him as a farming character, then I wouldn't suggest you take him to 75. He's more than enough at 70 if you're planning on just using him to farm. As for Guild Thunder, if you're using him in PvP, go ahead, 75 him. But right now I'm only using Guild Thunder as like a boosting unit, so I only left him at 70. I'm not using him in PvP. I mean, I'm kind of playing around with him in ungeared, but he's probably gonna get swapped out soon, so I'm not taking him to 75. And Diane is pretty good right now. She's like really good. Her out hits insanely hard. If you are using her on your PvP teams, then yeah, go ahead. She's a pretty decent option. But she kind of like falls off like later on into the game, so you have to bear that in mind. But if you are using her right now and you really like her, you outrush with her and stuff, then yeah, go ahead. This Elizabeth, I took her to 60, but like I'm gonna take her higher than this, at least 70. But I only took her to 60 like for now because of her passive. Her passive is just really good. She doesn't need 75, trust me. If you are not using her, if you are just using her for like PvE, 60 is enough, honestly. Demon Meliodas, I wouldn't even take him to 70, to be honest. I only took him to 70 just because of the fact that I was trying to push for Champion 5 if you're ungeared. I couldn't, like, I was like struggling, so I just decided to take him to 70. But right now I wouldn't even take him to 70. I only took him cause I was desperate. And this bun is not worth it because Merlin is just does what he does and is better pretty much. This Elizabeth Hawk, not worth. I took her 70 and 6 stars because I saw like Seka Poco, like he did a video with like Hauser, and like he just used like Pierce gear on Ellie Hawk, I think, and then he just like destroyed people in like geared PvP. But like honestly, like I tried her out, but she's not a bad unit, but I was kind of expecting more, if I were to be honest. So yeah, I wouldn't take her to 75 unless you have like really good gear for her and you want to use her in your main PvP team. Then she'll hit pretty hard. I mean, I used my Hauser's gear and she was hitting for like 60, 60 plus 70k on her level 1 AoE, which is really good, but like her other card isn't that good, honestly. So I like removed her from my team. And Gustav is fine at 60 or 70. Just slap one like HP gear on him, HP defense gear, and then he's fine. This Meliodas I wouldn't take up because I would take up not to 75, at least for now. I would take up for the associations only because like there are characters in the future whereby I need his association for. This blue bun I wouldn't. He's good at like 65, 60 even maybe. Elizabeth Hawk is pretty decent in PvP, but she's gonna fall off. She's not even that good right now. She's decent, but she's not insanely good, and she's just gonna fall off even more, honestly. This Elaine is okay at 60. You wanna bring her to 60 because of the Super Boss King, and there are like reverse stages coming in the future, but she's good at 60. You don't really need like extra damage from her or anything, you just need her to be there. So 60 is fine for us. Slater, if you absolutely love your Slater, you bring him into like every like Red Demon Extreme. I would probably still leave him at 70 to be honest. Cause I feel like they're just much better units. Helbram is fine at 60, trust me. A reason being you can just what do you normally use the green Helbram for? The buff, right? You don't need the extra stats to put this buff out. And plus his oh my god, I didn't wait, let me go back in. You can see that his passive makes it so that like he basically makes it so that like he like when he's supposed to die, he just resurrects himself, but it only works once per battle, so it's like a safety net, you know, so you don't exactly need the extra stats. Just slap one HP defense gear on him and run him as a support. Level 60 is enough. This Griamore is trash. And then this Griamore though, you might, if you have a Merlin, I wouldn't recommend. If you have a green Merlin, I wouldn't recommend taking this guy out. But if you do not have a green Merlin, and you really want a character that does somewhat the same thing as green Merlin, and has like a perfect cube kind of skill, this Griamore has like the same card. But he's an SR unit, so he has lower base stats, and his other cards aren't as good, but he has like a perfect cube pretty much. So you can, I'll probably just leave him at 70 if you really want like a character with like a shield. I'll probably leave him at 70 at most. And let me see if I'm missing out anyone. This Guild Thunder is okay only, I wouldn't take up. This Elizabeth though, she's okay at 60. 60 or 70. 60, 65 or 70. She doesn't need a 75. If you don't already know that you can use this Elizabeth for outrushing, like outcycling. I think that's the term. Outcycling, something like that. Maybe I'm just making that term up, but basically it makes it so that you just like continuously out pretty much. Because like her out gives like everyone 2 out gauges, and if like the other your teammate has another Elizabeth, then once you get both outs off, you just get 4 out gauges back. It's like pretty stupid, honestly. So you can use that for outcycling. Level 60, 65, 70 is enough. Weinhardt, I wouldn't take him out. 70 at max, I would say. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. I'm not too sure if I mentioned Gustav already, but Gustav and Merlin are like the same thing. You just basically need them for their freeze, and then you just, if you're only leaving them at like 60, right, both Merlin and Gustav. I mean, if you want to use Red Merlin in PvP, then that's a different story, but I'm assuming most people are just using both of them for like PvE content for their freezers. Level 60, just slap on HP defense and they're fine. They're good to go. I don't think I missed anyone important. Let me just take one more look. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone important. So I mean, if I didn't, then it will be the end of the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.